All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Right now, NVIDIA pretty much owns the future, right? But the mechanics of how they actually climb to the absolute top of the tech world, well, it's a wild story, it's full of unexpected turns, literal mathematical serendipity, and just sheer mind-boggling scale. We're going to look at a journey that honestly seems impossible when you compare their literal day one to where they're standing right now.
I mean, $2 trillion. Just let that massive valuation sink in for a second, because it is wild. This number doesn't just show they're participating in the AI boom, it shows they're the fundamental bedrock of our entire modern tech landscape. They are literally the underlying engine making the whole artificial intelligence revolution possible.
Which really brings us to the core paradox we need to unpack today. How on earth did a startup, founded in a Denny's diner, end up holding the keys to the future? Bridging that massive gap between a roadside diner, the place famous for late-night pancakes, and a $2 trillion AI titan, that is exactly what makes this evolution so fascinating.
So let's start with part one, the Denny's diner origins. Talk about humble beginnings.
It's really the ultimate contrast of their entire journey. I mean, day one was literally sketching out ideas over bottomless coffee and sticky plastic menus. And today it means powering these humming, hyper-advanced data centers. Going from a greasy diner booth to physically running the brain of the modern internet, it completely redefines our traditional idea of what a successful startup trajectory even looks like.
Moving on to part two, powering video games. This was decades of pure focus.
See, for decades, their sole identity was serving the video game community. If you heard the name NVIDIA, you instantly thought of gaming GPUs. They were this kind of niche hardware manufacturer, completely dedicated to rendering realistic explosions, complex lighting, and getting those high frame rates. They definitely weren't setting out to build some massive AI revolution. They were just meticulously refining these chips to push the boundaries of digital entertainment.
Which brings us to the big one, Section 3, the Great AI Pivot, and how they ended up owning the future.
When we map out this trajectory, the timeline is pretty clear, right? From Denny's to decades of perfecting the gaming GPU, all the way to sitting at the very epicenter of modern AI. But what actually happened in the middle there? How do video games suddenly translate into artificial intelligence? Well, the answer is a stroke of pure, absolute mathematical serendipity.
It turns out the exact mathematical engines required to make video games look totally incredible are the exact same ones needed for artificial intelligence. Who knew, right? The architecture built to render complex visual graphics, calculating millions of tiny pixels all at the exact same time, is the literal exact same parallel processing required to train massive AI models. So they didn't even have to reinvent the wheel. The hardware they spent decades refining for gamers inadvertently became the non-negotiable bedrock for AI. They basically built the exact tool the world was going to need long before the world even knew it needed it.
And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating final thought to wrap up this explainer. If a $2 trillion company owns the future today, what are they going to power tomorrow? From those diner booths to video games to the foundational data centers of the current AI boom, NVIDIA is sitting firmly in the driver's seat of our technological evolution. It really makes you wonder, if this is where their hardware has brought us so far, where is it taking us next? Keep that in the back of your mind the next time you see a massive new tech breakthrough, because honestly, chances are it's running on the very same technology that used to just power your favorite video game.